Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another build video. This week we're going to be taking a look at the Vertus Praetors of the Adeptus Custodes. Great new kit with the Dawneagle Jetbikes. Really loving the detail on these ones, to the point where there is going to be a whole bunch showing up on my painting table in the very near future. So starting off, we have all the bits laid out here. Everything's been cleaned up, and just going to start with the front aspect of it, gluing the hurricane bolters into the slot for this, I guess, eagle crest for the front of the jet bike. And a lot of these pieces go on very easily, very nicely together, which makes things a lot easier. So putting together the body of the Dawneagle Jetbike, very easy, just getting some of the plastic glue. Don't need a whole lot for it, although you can see some places I use a little bit too much. And they just slide together very nicely. And all in all, I'm really enjoying these models. At this point, after this build, I have built quite a few of them now. And they go together very easily as long as you're paying attention to it, and they look great when they're done. So here we're just going to attach the front eagle decorative plates to the actual body of the bike. And once again, nice and simple, goes on. And a lot of the build goes along like this. You don't even really need the instructions all that much because a lot of it is pretty self-explanatory. Again, just pay attention to it and go slow and you'll be fine. So here we're installing the bottom part of the front of the bike. So this is the component that connects the two eagle shield plates to it. And at the same time, it provides a little bit of extra support for the whole overall body of the bike. This is probably the most difficult piece I worked with on this one. This is the body of the eagle for the very front of everything. And it's just because it's a little snug to get in there, but you'll feel it snap into place once it's in there, and it looks really solid, really good. So moving on, we're going to just attach the other plate to it. And there's the hurricane bolter right there, and it just goes on nice and easily, just like you did on the other plate. This time though, we're just adding a little bit of glue to the support at the very bottom. And just clips in just like so, and creates a very nice front profile for the model. All in all, this is actually a really good example of some of the CAD designs that we've been seeing lately for these models. Just really solid design. Because it doesn't have posing options and whatnot, everything fits together really nicely without worries. And so there we go, just that little support bar going over top of the seat of the jet bike itself. And now we're just going to start attaching the fins to the side. Now these pieces go on nice and easily. Just make sure you don't use too much glue. As you can see, I did a little bit there. It doesn't always quite bond right away if you use a bit too much. So if you're using a very thin plastic glue, just be very deliberate with how you're putting it on there. You don't want to put in too much glue. 'Cause you don't need a lot, especially with the plastic glue, because it bonds the surfaces together really nicely. So there's the pedal going on. And we're just going to put the fin on the front of the bike now. And you can see a little groove in the fin to make sure it goes onto the right side. Yeah, just pay quick attention to that and you'll be able to get it on there no problem. It fits nice and snug without too much issues. This was another tricky part with it. This is the Misericordia, I believe it's called. And you can see a little groove in the scabbard of it, and then it just sort of clips onto the side of the bike on the left-hand side. It took me a little bit to find the right groove for it, but once I did, you can feel it slide into place, and it gets held there pretty easily. And just make sure you get that done before you install the bike exhaust. I almost did it one step too far, and it would have been pretty tricky to get the sword in there otherwise. So the rear fin goes on, and once again, nice and easy. You'll see a groove in it in the chassis of the bike itself. It just fits in there. And here is the front plate of the bike with the front exhaust, or the intake, I guess, and just slides on. This one looks a little bit weird. It might look a little off-center if you just look at it from the top, so just make sure you get a view of it all angles to make sure it's in there correctly. Once I did that, I was a lot more confident about it. And now we're going to do the rear engine piece. And again, it's one of those pieces that you're going to get a little resistance, but just give it a nice gentle push in there and it will fit. And just going to repeat the process we did on the left side of the Dawneagle bike with the right. So again, the fins, the exhaust, the pedals. Just going to complete the overall look of the model. So once again, you can see the little groove on the fin for the one at the front, and it just slides right in as a result. Overall, this model it's actually really easy to build. I built one, and I've been able to build many more since then pretty easily without the instructions. It's a very intuitive model overall. I enjoy building it, which is good because I have a whole bunch more that I plan on doing. But it fits together very nicely. The pieces work. There's a sense of, I guess, design sense to it that I really enjoy. So the other pedal just goes on, and you can see two little pipes that stick up from either side. You can line up the pedals with those two pipes as well as the underside, and if you get that all together, you know you've done it right. And last piece here is going to be the control panel, or I guess the handles of the bike itself. Now this one is tricky once you start getting the actual rider on there, because you got to make sure that the arm lines up with the left hand on the bike itself, on the handles. So there you go. There's the Vertus Prator Dawneagle Jetbike. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow along on social media, and as always, happy wargaming.